it was a rainy day in Brixton. That's how it began. It was a rainy, soggy day in Brixton, looking to buy sort of the usual Caribbean provisions. And I went into one particular shop, and the experience there wasn't particularly pleasant. And it dawned on me, I thought, well, it's always unpleasant, this shopping experience for Caribbean produce. And I felt, actually, I could do this.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Pitch Black unboxing show. We've got with us today the guys behind a really great brand that is just brilliant. It's called Windrush Bay. And as the name suggests, it's quintessentially Caribbean. And so we featured Windrush Bay as the people behind one of our 10 products to buy and to try in the second issue of Pitch Black magazine. So if you haven't got the magazine yet, please go and get it so you can know a little bit more about Joanne Crossley, who's the CEO, and Bradley Henderson, who's the marketing director. And they are the people behind Windrush Bay. So
hi, welcome.
Welcome, Joanne and Bradley. How are you guys doing?
We're fine,
thank you. Yes.
Nice day. Good day for it.
Yes,
Brilliant.
definitely.
Brilliant. And thank you for being a part of the second issue. One of the things that really captured my attention was your branding, and your branding was really quintessentially Caribbean. But before we go into the brand itself, just tell us a little bit about your backgrounds prior to Windrush Bay.
Okay. So my background is in procurement, supply chain management, and operations. So I've had the experience of working in sort of commercial organizations. I've also worked for a charity and a sort of a government organization, sort of an arm's length body. So I've had the experience of working across sort of all sort of types of organizations.
Yeah.
And my background is actually, I started off in retail. And then I ended up in marketing. I did it for about 15 years, mainly car ads and FMCG products. So it's a wonderful experience for this brand.
Absolutely.
Right. So you've come from that background and probably hearing about business ownership and entrepreneurship to now being business owners. How does that feel?
Wow, it feels great, but there's also a massive weight of responsibility that comes with that as well. So, you know, obviously when you're working in an organization, you know, your employer sort of takes care of you. You know, in the sort of entrepreneurial sort of sphere that we're in, it's a completely different ball game. You're responsible for everything.
Your responsibility, your decision, and
your
everything.
Decisions,
and decisions have to be made quicker than it would do in a company, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But despite that, you decided to make the jump and start Windrush Bay. What was the motivation behind that?
Oh, well, it was actually started a number of years ago, actually, and it started out. It was a rainy day in Brixton. That's how it began. It was a rainy, soggy day in Brixton, looking to buy sort of the usual Caribbean provisions. And I went into one particular shop, and the experience there wasn't particularly pleasant. And it dawned on me, I thought, well, it's always unpleasant, this shopping experience for Caribbean produce. And I felt, actually, I could do this. I could open a shop. And make a really nice shop where, you know, people feel, you know, welcomed, and, you know, customers are informed about the products. The people who sell the products know what they're selling and all those sorts of things. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to start this. And this is way back in 2008 when I came up with the concept. Yes. And so sort of talked about what we would call the brand. Paused for a time, and we decided, in 2014 to call the business Windrush Bay, because we felt that that was what we were about, really. It was about actually, you know, selling Caribbean products, tropical groceries, to not just to, you know, Caribbean and African communities, but everybody, really. So that's where it started. And initially the plan was to have a physical shop and then have an online on the side. But then the credit crunch took place in 2008. Some people may remember that. So it meant that we couldn't get the funding to open the physical shop. So we thought, okay, well, we'll try online. And that's what we've been doing ever since. It's been online ever since. Maybe one day we will have a wonderful shop to showcase what we do. But then for the meantime, it's all online.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
And also one of the things, the additional to that, we're also trying to what we call curate Caribbean cuisine. We would like everyone to understand the benefits of it and the simplicity of cooking it, because it looks complex, but it isn't. It's I always say the word when you see your mom or your wife spending a lot of time in the kitchen, it's because she's putting love in cooking. But when you're cooking, you just cook the same thing, but it's done the same preparation, same time. But it's just mom and wife spends more time making sure everything is a lot nicer. You know what I mean? So these are the things we're trying to do, because we've understood a lot about our cuisine. We know about the product, and we understand about the products. So we feel that not that we best place, but for what we sell, we know what we're selling, and and it's important for us that, especially for the elders, it's important that the food is fresh, because so many times they'll spend the money and only to go home and find out only a quarter of the stuff is any good. We make sure and we repeat to them, if any of the items are not good, or there's any issues, please tell us within 48 hours and we replace it. So
brilliant.
We serve our community.
That's really important for us.
Very important.
And what has the overall experience been from the time you started the business to now? What's the journey been like? What are some of the challenges, some of the highlights?
Well, the journey's been fantastic, because especially last year, we saw the pleasure on our customers' faces of having their food delivered to them. They didn't have to go out, wake up 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go at 7 o'clock to buy the best part. They know that what they're getting is the best parts of you know.
And certainly in terms of the actual journey itself, you know, when we started back, you know, in those early days, the idea of having sort of fresh produce delivered, particularly tropical fruit and veg delivered to the door, was something that a lot of people balked against. They were very like, well, no, you know, we want to see it, we want to feel it and touch it, because that's what they're used to. And initially, when we did a sort of focus group, they loved the concept of, yes, I don't mind my canned products delivered and things in packets, but when it comes to fresh produce, no, hell no. We want to see it, we want to touch it, and make sure it's right. And so when we decided to launch our tropical fruit and veg box in 2019, we thought, okay, we're going to go for it. And so we tried it in sort of within Greater London, and we had, you know, some good responses to it. And then in March 2020, the lockdown happened. So a situation where obviously people wanted to be able to get to the shops, they couldn't, everywhere was shut. How are they going to get their hard food? How are they going to get their plantain, the yams, and all those sorts of things? And we were, you know, at the right place at the right time, really, in terms of actually offering that service. And so, as you can imagine, it was literally like a rocket. It was phenomenal, the number of responses we had. And there was one particular lady we delivered to in West London, and I think she may have kind of started that reaction, because she received the box and she gave wonderful reviews about it, and she said this would be brilliant for when the lockdown happens, and that was it. And so we found that people actually trusted us because there was, well, you know, how do we know if it's fresh? You know, are you a black-owned business? Are you sure you're a black-owned business? Because a lot of people couldn't believe that this is actually a black-owned business. So that was one issue, and we overcame that. But the response has been fantastic, you know, and our customers have been brilliant. And, you know, we have a really strong customer relationship. And a lot of our customers, they're very loyal to us, totally understanding, and they really do appreciate the service that we offered, particularly during lockdown.
It's because we see the brand, and we see the brand just not as selling, but we see it as a community brand. It's all about the Caribbean community as well as the local community or national community, because we understand there are other nationalities who would like to experience sort of the West Indian cuisine. So
absolutely,
we make it affordable to them, and we'll deliver nationwide. It's not a problem. We deliver nationwide, and we've as far as Scotland, as far as Ireland as well.
Wow.
So